Imagine waking up every day knowing the world has already decided what you're not capable of, simply because of how you were born. Now imagine defying all of that. This is not just a story about wrestling. This is about heart, grit, and the power of refusing to stay on the mat when life pins you down. Stay with me. This journey might just change the way you see your own limitations. Before we dive in, do me one favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. If you believe that the human spirit is stronger than circumstance, that resilience still matters, then you're exactly where you need to be. Let's grow through this story together. Born without legs, Rohan wasn't supposed to be an athlete. He wasn't supposed to be fast, strong, or competitive. People looked at him and saw only what was missing. But Rohan never asked for permission to believe in himself. He didn't wait for the world to make space. He carved his own. From playground rejection to the brutal grind of wrestling mats, this is the story of how one young man refused to be limited by what he didn't have and showed the world everything he did. From the beginning, Rohan was up against it. He was born without legs, a condition that doctors defined with medical terms and society defined with doubt. But Rohan's parents didn't raise him with pity. They raised him with purpose. He learned to adapt quickly. Crawling became climbing, lifting became leaping, and what others called disability, he called training. Still, school was tough. Recess wasn't fun. It was a reminder of what others thought he couldn't do. But even then, Rohan's mindset was different. He didn't wish for legs, he wished for opportunity. When Rohan first mentioned wanting to join the wrestling team, most people thought it was a joke. Wrestling with no legs? But what they did not understand is that wrestling isn't just about limbs, it is about leverage, strategy, heart. And Rohan had all of that in abundance. He trained in silence, behind the scenes. He studied the sport, built upper body strength most athletes could only dream of, and when the time came and he tried out, he didn't just make the team, he belonged on it. Rohan's talent and toughness didn't go unnoticed. Through regional tournaments, state-level meets, and a record that turned heads, he eventually earned a spot on the wrestling team at none other than Penn State University, a powerhouse in collegiate wrestling. But this wasn't a feel-good movie. This was the real grind. College wrestling is brutal. The training is relentless. The competition is elite. Yet Rohan didn't ask for exceptions. He asked for a shot. He went toe-to-toe with some of the strongest, most seasoned athletes in the country and held his own. Sometimes he won, sometimes he didn't. But every single time he showed up, focused, unshaken, unapologetically driven. Rohan's next goal? The global stage. With Olympic dreams in his heart and steel in his spine, he began training for the Paralympics. He pushed past injury, fatigue, and every ounce of doubt that crept in. The result? He earned his place as a Paralympian, not as a symbol, not as a story, but as a competitor. His matches weren't charity events, they were battles, intense, technical, and fierce. And every time he stepped on the mat, he wasn't representing limitation. He was redefining excellence. Rohan's story isn't just about sports, it's about all of us. It's about every person who's been told, you can't. It's about every child who's been overlooked, every adult who's been underestimated, every dreamer who's been dismissed. Rohan showed us that resilience isn't about pretending things are easy. It's about doing the hard thing anyway. It's about refusing to let the shape of your body define the strength of your soul. It's about believing, deeply, that where you start does not determine how far you go. So here's the question. What's your mat? What is the thing you have been afraid to step into because you think you are missing something? Skill, support, strength, or approval? Rohan didn't wait until he had every answer. He started with what he had, and he turned it into a legacy. What's stopping you? Not having enough, being different, being doubted? Rohan reminds us, your limitations aren't the end. They're the beginning. You may not be born without legs, but life will try to cut you off at the knees. You will face rejection, resistance, pain. But if Rohan's story teaches us anything, it's this. The most powerful muscle in the human body is will. So if this story lit a fire in your spirit, if it reminded you that you are stronger than your excuses, Then here's your move. Hit that like button and drop a comment. What's your fight? Subscribe and be part of this channel, where we share real stories of unstoppable people living out radical courage. Because someone out there needs to see you rise. Just like Rohan did.